Hello. Welcome to another edition of our weekly series on FGM. We're talking about eliminating FGM once and for all. We're talking about the efforts that people are putting around the world to make sure this stops now. We're talking about the different initiative that has been put in place, and we've brought again some very interesting panelists to join us. While waiting for people to join our live series, I want you to share the links within your network. Share the links because, as we say, the more the merrier. I'm sharing the link as well. So if you can all share the link, then we can have more people join our live. So we recently launched another edition of FabAfriq magazine. And this edition was commissioned by the UNFPA from Defend Defender. And what we discussed FGM in its whole capacity, in its entity. We talked about the cons of FGM and why it has to stop by 2030. World leaders have come together to deliberate on things that they need to put in place for their countries to stop this. Business people have joined in the fight, celebrities have joined in the fight, activists and even survivors have come out to share their stories. New initiative has been initiated by different organizations to see how people can use innovation to change the stories. The most exciting part is that most activists or most survivors of FGM have now joined the movement. They're now talking about why it should stop. They're sharing their personal experiences and how much pain they went through that. We talk about culture a lot. We talk about culture and the importance of culture. That's fine. But there are some traditional rituals, there's some traditional beliefs that must end, and FGM is one of it. On the panel today, I have three exciting people. I can't wait to introduce them to you. I want to start by introducing Meltem. So I will read her bio because it's very rich and rich. So who is Meltem and why is he an authority to speak today during this program? Okay. Just to let you know, I worked with Meltem on this program and it was very challenging working with her because she pays attention to details. She is very sure of what needs to be done. She is, I don't want to say the other side of the story, the person that lets you see the actual, making sure all the meetings take place and let you see the actual essence of why we are doing what we're doing. So just to give you a big background of who Meltem is of Turkish national and she works in the Gender and GBV Technical Department of UNFPA and UNICEF. She works in the joint program, meaning the joint program of UNFPA and UNICEF. And she's been part of a lot of different initiatives that the joint program has put in place. I mean, she was one of the key players in the InnoHack or Innovative Hack, which was an initiative that was launched by the program to see how they can bring their youths to participate in stopping or eliminating FGM. She has also been on the field talking to people who have undergone FGM and also providing recommendations of what we need to do to stop this. The next panelist on our program today is Ariefab. Ariefab Kumara is an outstanding child, young girls and women's rights advocate in the areas of education, ending female genital mutilation, local community development, and ending extreme suffering, especially for people living in hard-to-reach and isolated communities across Sierra Leone. He's an authority because he's had a lot of engagement with people who've lived FGM, people who are living in extreme pains and suffering, and his organization every time works with other organizations to help stop these movements. My next panelist for today is Rahinatou. I'm going to be calling her Rai on the program today. Ibrahim is currently leading FGM implementation in Ghana and also provides technical support to UNFPA Ghana. She also doubles as a program lead for UNFPA and UNICEF Global Youth Consortium against FGM. Now tell me, who best can talk about a program that touches us deep in the heart, if not people who are in the core of this matter? I want to bring them on the screen, and in no particular order, I'm just going to pop them up and then we get the ball rolling. Hello, Meltem. Hello, Rai. Hello, Arifa. So pleased to meet you guys
Hello.
today. Hello. Hi. Let's start with you, Arifa. How are you and where are you checking in from?
I am doing
I
great.
am doing great.
I'm checking in
I'm
from Sierra Leone, the western part of Africa.
Tell me a little bit about your organization, the organization which you work with.
And so my organization was first of all called, Children's Education Foundation before we transitioned to her Future Foundation. So Children's Education Foundation was found in 2014 to 2016. So the foundation story behind Children's Education Foundation was the motive to save, to rescue, and to protect a young girl that was below 8 years, to protect her from female genital mutilation that we call FGM, to protect her from early marriage. The reason why I said to protect her from all of these is because on that fateful day, my mother wake me up and say, Arifa. I said, yes, mother. He said, come and close the door. I asked her, mother, where are you going? And she said, I am going to your uncle because your uncle is having an FGM ceremony that he wants to perform for Isata. Isata is the girl who gave me the inspiration, who gave me the motivation to start Children's Education Foundation. Then I asked my mom, what is going to happen with Isata? And then she said, we are going to take her to the secret society bush, and she's going to become a woman today. Then I asked my mom, has Isata never become a girl? Is Isata not a woman? She said, now, because she has not gone through FGM. I said, mother, sit down, let me talk to you. And my mother said, Arifa, close the door because I'm almost late. I said, mother, please listen to me. I am your son, and I know that you don't have a girl child, but I represent that girl child today. Please, mother, listen to me. Because of that respect, because of the honor my mother had for me, she had to sit down and she had to listen to me. I had to tell my mother anything else but the hard truth. Yes, I am her child, a male, but I had to tell her the truth that, mother, look, what you guys are doing in this community, I know it's right because it's your culture. But, mother, you only have 3 children that are going to school, and this community is populated with over 200 children that are not going to school, and you still support these things. So, at the end of the day, after when Isata shall have come out of the FGM ceremony, she's going to be married off. She said yes, because Isata is not going to school, she doesn't have anything to do, and stuff like that. I said, no, ma'am, this is not the solution. We have to do something about it. And what do we have to do about it? We have to make sure that we support your community. This time I'm talking about was the time I was in my high school. Then I got the inspiration. Then I was inspired to say, no, I want to change the story around the community. I want to do something that everybody can admire. I want to be that change maker that can put stop to things that are happening with women and girls in the corner of village. So my mother had to listen to me, and she said, okay, so what can we do and what can you do as a young man? I, as a mother, I don't have the money. I have the money to pay for your school. I have the money to pay for your brothers. I have the money to take care of you, but I don't have the money to start school in this village. I said, mom, this is not about money. This is not about anything. This is about the passion that you're going to get. This is about what I'm going to tell you, that your community needs a school. And then she said, what can we do? I said, first of all, what I want you to do is to go to your brother and interrupt that thing that you guys want to do. The reason why you are interrupting is because Aisata is too young to go to the Bodo society. Aisata is too young to be married off. I said, so what you're going to do is to go and interrupt that activity now and come back. Let's come and discuss. Right away, my mother cried. She shed tears. She was emotional that she's going to stop the people and stuff like that. But she had a voice because the community trusted her. Anything that she says, work in the community. So she went to her brother and said, okay, my brother, you know what? Arifa has spoken to me. We can do this FGM thing. We can initiate ISATA. But can we wait after today? Then we can do it either tomorrow or the day after. And then my uncle said, okay, because you are my sister, I love you and I can't deny you, let us wait till tomorrow. But then the Sowe, who is the cutter, is not going back to her own village. She's going to stay with us till tomorrow. Then my mother said, okay. So my mother came back to me and said, Arifa, I have stopped this thing. What else do you want me to do? I said, mother, listen. Education doesn't mean having a big building. Education doesn't mean every child having a computer. Education doesn't mean a child sitting under AC. Education simply means you, my mother, sacrificing to buy a dozen of books, and each and every child in this community to get access to one book, each and every child in this community to get access to one pencil, and each and every child in this community get access to at least put on a cloth. And then we can talk to anybody that has taken the MPSA exam to start with education. My mother cried again and said, she doesn't have the resources. She doesn't have the money. I said, mother, how much are you giving me per quarter for my upkeep? She said, I'm giving you 2 bags of granite. At that time, if you said 2 bags of granite, it's close to $20. I said, okay, so this today, I don't want that granite. I want you to use that 2 bags of granite, go to your brother, donate it as your own support to start education in your community. My mother said, okay, if that makes you happy. Remember, the time I did this was my father already died. I lost my father when I was 6, and our mother had so much love for us. So the love that she has for her father, that love she transferred to us, because she didn't go to any other man after the death of our dad. She said, I'm going to take care of my children. I'm going to give them a better life, and I'm going to make them happy always. So my mother went to my uncle and discussed this initiative with my uncle. My uncle cried and said, no politician had bring up this idea. No honorable had bring up this idea. No paramount chief had bring up this idea. Not even they themselves as community people. So he brought the idea and summoned a community meeting. And in that community meeting on that fateful day on Friday, my uncle said, nobody is going for work today. All what we are going to do, everybody is going to the bush. We are going to take bamboo stick. We are going to take cane. We are going to whatsoever material that you have, you take them and brought them in town. So everybody went to the bush. We came back to town. I can share the pictures after this meeting and stuff like that. We all came back and stuff like that to put up the thatch house structure. And then finally, we got a school. They spoke to their brother who was in another village teaching. And my own younger brother had already taken his MPSC examination, the primary school examination. My younger brother came to me and cried and said, brother, if this is what we can do to develop this community, I am ready to stay in this community. I am ready to teach the kids how to read ABCD. I am ready to learn them how to count. And my younger brother was the first ever teacher in that school. He taught the kids ABCD till when we are ready to leave for our own educational pursuit. So we started that education. We started that school. And at the end of the day, what happened? I went back to my school, and when I came to Freetown, the capital of Sierra Leone, each and everyone, including the politician, we are running after that story. To know this young man who started a school without the money, to know this young man who started an education without the required resources, to know Arifa, how old was Arifa, how educated was Arifa, the job Arifa was doing. But guess what? Arifa was just a student. Arifa was just an high school student who had the passion to say he wants to stop, negative activities in his own motherland. So what? Success was we had the school. The kids were happy going to school. The township was happy that the kids can go back to school. My mother was so happy to know that out of nothing, zero from zero. A young
A
man
young man
from a
from
young
a
man
young
from his
man
own
from
from
his
her
own
own
from her
family
own family
has stand
has stand
can bring
can
change
bring
to her
change to
community.
her
And
community.
that has
And
ever
that
been
has
the dream
ever
of
been
our
the dream
mom.
of our
Our
mom.
mom told
Our
us
mom
one
told
day,
us
I
one
am
day, I
educating you
am
people
educating you
because
people
one day I
because
know you
one day
have to
I know
come
you
back to
have
my
to come back.
community and develop this community. So we don't have to wait till we get the best education. We don't have to wait till we get the best job. We don't have to wait till we get the best anything in this world. We don't have to wait to get the money. We just have to do what we can do
We
now
can do
whilst we
now
wait for the
as we wait for
resources.
the
So
resources.
current class, I'm
So
speaking
current
to
class, I'm
you.
speaking to
That school
you.
is
That school
running.
is
People are
running.
supporting the
People are
school.
supporting the
The school is
school.
now
The school is
big.
now
We
big.
have
We
over
have over
500 children
500
now
children
going to
now
Wow.
school.
going to school.
Wow, that's an
And they
amazing
are all
And they are
doing
all
achievement.
perfectly
doing
well.
perfectly
And
well.
that
Well
school
And
has
that
been
school
done.
has been
approved by the
approved by
government.
the government.
They are now
They
getting
are now
government
getting
support.
government
They are now
support.
getting
They are now
NGO
Wow.
getting
support.
NGO
They are not
support.
getting
They are not
Islamic
getting
scholar
Islamic
support.
scholar
People
support.
are going
People
Wow.
there
are
now to
going
do
there now to
research,
do research,
even on
Well
even on
done.
Arifa.
Arifa.
Well done.
One day I
One
Well
was
day
sitting
done.
I
at
was
my home
sitting
when
at
I
my home
received a
when I received a
newspaper, and they
newspaper,
asked this
and they asked
question:
this question:
How Srailon
How
wish,
Srailon wish,
how Koinadu
how
with the
Koinadu with
community
the
where
community
Arifa is
where
coming
Arifa is
from
coming from
can get other
can get other
descendants
descendants
like Arifa.
like Arifa.
And because of this
And because
girl,
of this girl,
I have to say
I
it
have
here
to say it
today
here today
that because
that
of this
because of
girl,
this girl,
because of the
because of the
transformation, because
transformation,
of that
because
success
of that
story,
success
because
story,
people listen
because
to me,
people listen
because
to me,
politicians
because
listen to me,
politicians
because they
listen to
call
me,
me
because they
into
call me
TV
into
news,
TV
because they
news,
call me
because
into
they call
radio
me
news
into
to
radio
explain
news
my
to
stories,
explain my
I
stories.
have got
I have
so
got
much
so
inspiration
much
and
inspiration
motivation
and
to continue
motivation to
that work.
continue that
And
work.
in
And in
2018, because of
2018,
this
because
story,
of this
I
story,
got a
I got
project
a
that cost
project that cost
$6,000. In
$6,000. In
2019, it was
2019,
increased to
it was increased to
$18,500. In
$18,500.
2020
In
to
2020 to
2021, it was
2021,
increased
it
to
was increased to
$19,500.
$19,500.
And guess
Well
what?
And guess
done.
what?
The
The
$19,500
$19,500
just
just
started with
started
a money
with a money
below
below
$20.
$20.
Well, and I
So
think
I
I'm very
told my
So I
inspired.
people,
told my
Arifa, I'm very
people,
inspired by your story, and I can see the passion in how you narrate this story. And when I close my eyes, I can see the little boy in Sierra Leone. I can see you talking to your mom. I can see you stopping the process. And I want to say kudos to what you've done. You've done an amazing job. Please do not stop, because we've got till 2030 for this to end. And with more activists like you, I want to share your contact to a group of other people. I want to share your story with them so that they can follow your footsteps and be an impact in their community. Well, they will come back again to you, and we're going to, for sure, before the end of this conversation, we will be listening to other amazing story from you. Let me hear from you, Meltem. I want to hear about why is FGM a call for concern. I know that Arifa has explained it, in his, why for him as a young man at the time it was a call for concern. He puts education in front, and he puts the rights of a girl child. So Melton, what would you say is a call for concern with regards to FGM?
Yeah, I mean, I can actually respond to this, I mean, question in two ways. First one is much more personal one, and the other one more, I mean, institutional. I mean, in your last panel, I know that. I mean, the speakers gave lots of numbers and underlined the importance of fighting with, I mean, or eliminating, I mean, FGM. Maybe it is better me to start from the personal one, individual one. It is, I mean, I've been working with women's issues for like 35 years now. And one of the most important, I mean, concerns that I have is working on violence against women and girls. And FGM, to tell the truth, for me is the, I mean, worst type of, I mean, violence that is actually directed to, I mean, women and girls. And for many years, I mean, to tell the truth, I didn't want to work on FGM because I even couldn't, I mean, stand reading it. I mean, I first came across with the practice when I was like 20, early 20s. I was in UK and met one of the prominent feminists of Egypt, Nawal El Saadawi, who's also a physician and a survivor of FGM, and she was actually recently published her book called Daughter of Isis, and in that book she was talking about how she was subjected to FGM as a daughter of a well-educated and rich family. And I had the opportunity to talk to her, during that time, and I said, "Oh my God! I think I cannot work on this subject. Never." But many years later, I'm just in the middle of, the continent, and working daily basis on FGM. This is my individual story to connect with FGM. And the other thing is, I must underline, after I came to Ethiopia, actually I'm located in Ethiopia but working for 17 countries within the continent for eliminating FGM, through the UNICEF UNFPA joint program. One line coming from the mouths of a survivor, to tell the truth, makes me to get up in the morning, every morning, and do whatever I can do within this program and support the FGM survivors. It is this line, actually. She said, "I will never wish even my enemy to go through such suffering in life." This is my motivational sentence for every day to fight with FGM, because in the world it is estimated that 200 million, this is a huge number, 200 million girls and women have undergone some form of FGM in 30 countries to date, and a practice that is severely harmful to women and girls and continues to cause serious injuries to millions of women and girls across the world. When I say serious injuries, it is both physical and psychological. So, with many activities or initiatives, within the joint program, other initiatives working against, FGM. In the past decade, we have recorded a continuous decline in the prevalence of FGM in countries where FGM is driven by unequal norms, and even as attitudes change, unfortunately, the practice still continues, still persists. So it is really important to actually address FGM every day, and every outlet, media, social media, conventional media, or in meetings, with the politicians, with the service providers, with the teachers, with the religious leaders, cultural leaders. It is really important to work with advocates like Ariefab, advocates, especially young advocates, to change the mentality of the society and convey the messages regarding the harms that are caused by FGM, both psychological and physical harms that are caused by FGM. So within the maybe I can just bring the issue to how we're working with the youth, because youth is important. Young people, to work with young people is very important and inspiring as well. So within our joint program, one of the funders is EU, European Union, through Spotlight Initiative, Africa Regional Program. What we did was we actually supported young people to establish the Global Youth Consortium, which is a huge consortium now, very new, just 1 year old. And through Global Youth Consortium, we reach actually these two young people that we're together today. And we have like more than 1,000 of them with us, I mean, working under Global Youth Consortium. And maybe my young friends will talk about Global Youth Consortium more. So yeah, let me stop here and give the floor back to you, Adeline. Thank you.
Perfect.
Your voice is not coming. Sorry, your voice is not coming.
I think I'm muted. Thank you, Meltem. As you were speaking, I was just thinking about the different stories that we published in FabAfriq latest edition on FGM, and I was thinking about the consortium. I was thinking about your different field work. I was looking at the different things that you really had to go through. Not everyone has the stomach to stomach some of the things that people do on Earth, because there are so many things that people do, but it takes a strong person to change the narrative, to change their position. Like Meltem said, I wouldn't one of the young survivors said, I wouldn't wish this even for my enemy, and that automatically changed, the way she felt about that. So that was her change, that was her switched. If you're listening to us now, or if you watch this and listen to what we're saying, what is your take on FGM? What will make you throw your weight? What will make you join the movement? What will make you help the UN, UNFPA, all the different organizations working towards ending this? What will make you join their side? Put in your effort and help eliminate FGM once and for all by 2030. We'll be waiting to hear from you. In the meantime, I'm going to be bringing on Rahinatou. I would like you to tell us about your organization, the consortium, and how you feel that what you're doing there will help us towards what we want to achieve, which is eliminating FGM. Over to you.
Hello to listeners. So my name is Rahinatou Ibrahim. Uh, I'm currently in Ghana in the West African part, which is part of the West African country. Currently, I work with UNFPA Ghana as a program of assistant, specifically on the FGM project. I'm also the program lead for GYC, that's a Global Youth Consortium Against FGM. Okay, so I happen to find myself working on FGM in Ghana, also working on a global level on FGM. So I would want to start with my experience working with Ghana. So with the Ghana office, we have a project, FGM project, which is the prevention of the re-emergence of FGM between Ghana and Burkina Faso. So with this project, UNFPA Ghana is leading. You happen from statistics. We have from the multiple indicator cluster survey. From that research, it's seen that FGM rate is about 2.4% rate, whilst Burkina Faso have 76%. Somebody might say that, oh, Ghana, we have a relatively low number of FGM, but let's not forget that with Ghana, it shares a border with Burkina Faso, and it has a very high rate of FGM, which is 76. And if things are not really put in place, there will be a circumstance where FGM will have to re-emerge, where Ghana will have high rate of it. So at this stage, we want to prevent it. Then for it to happen, then we'll have to put a lot of resources to end it. So currently, that is what the project seeks to do. It seeks to bring a collaboration between Ghana and Burkina Faso, coming up with a a trinity on memorandum of understanding on how we can best tackle the issues of FGM. So with Ghana, the FGM cases is mostly at the border towns. So even though we have FGM being 2.4%, we have regional disparities. So when I pick Ghana like this, parts of Ghana in the north, especially in the northern region, close to the border towns, you have places like Boku, then Pusigai, which are border towns to Burkina Faso, having about 86% rate of FGM. And this is because of the border mingling with people around the border sites. And these are cases that young people have actually reported on FGM cases. So just currently, with last year, that was when last year December, that was when UNFPA Ghana launched this project, and currently we have had some activities with some stakeholders around these border communities, also having national stakeholders to also add their say on how best we can prevent this reemergence of FGM. And we've also trained about 50 young people. That was 2 months ago. We had a training for 50 young people, and these 50 young people, we taught them how to do community mobilization, how educating them on the health implications of FGM, and also letting them know the human rights perspective of FGM. So with Ghana, we are going to have a criminal law which which we can at least arrest somebody or jail someone who is practicing FGM. So some of this laws, like they do not know, some do not know, they don't have information about it. But this training, we enlighten the young people on some of these things that are really happening. That is against human rights, letting them understand. And when they go back to their community, how they can engage their community, but especially the young ones, to let them know that this is something which is harmful to me and the national law is against it, and how best they can defend for their human rights. So this is what we train the young people to do. And actually, the young people are in their communities now, and they've started with activities, and some of them have the support of their traditional leaders, where the traditional leaders are giving them the support to gather the community members, to talk to them and educate them about FGM. And there are some of the reports coming from the young people saying that there are some women who are returned to their husbands because they are not FGM, they have not been cut, and the men prefer people who have been cut. And they also come with the notion that when you are not cut, you will not be able to, where during your parents' burial, you will not be able to perform certain rites. So there are a whole lot of myths about this thing, and it's something that the young people in their communities are actually working on and educating their people, enlightening them on some of the health implications, and also letting them know the human rights perspective. So we also, aside that, UNFPA is also working with two CSOs, that's Pronet North and Builder. So these are CSOs that are also in the community, also working on cases of FGM. So we also collaborate with some of these CSOs and other government partners to ensure that some of these practices are being eliminated by 2030. And also, that's for the Ghana perspective. Coming to the Global Youth Consortium. So we have young people. The Global Youth Consortium right now have membership of young people from over 33 countries. So with this consortium, we are young people that come together to brainstorm, to share ideas on what is happening in your country. And one outstanding thing that is really happening with the consortium is that what is happening in Ghana, let me say, some of these innovations, we are approaching it to solve FGM. It's not the same thing Sierra Leone or Somalia might be using. So we come together as activists to share our ideas. Okay, what are you doing here? Okay, this is my situation, like on the ground. What best can we do about it? So we come together to brainstorm on best practices so that some of the things you think is feasible in your country, you can do it. So example is Ariefab. I remember when we first formed this, the early stage of the consortium, Ariefab came with the issue of about 14 girls who were sent to the forest to be cut. And he came to us with the issue. So how best can we do it? Who do we reach out to? What is the best way? Then we all brainstormed together and we did it together. So it's also a platform where globally young people can come up with their strength to really amplify issues. Because if as an individual your voice don't really go high as compared to coming together with voices to say that we are young people, this is our generation. We want a generation where when the older ones are gone, once they've given us this succession, we can continue and even put innovation and put even fresh ideas on how best we can solve it. So this is what I have to say. And with the training of the young people in Ghana, about 50 young people, it really opened my eyes to certain things. So with UNFPA Ghana, what they've done differently, and this time around, like on the case of FGM, is that they are letting young people to lead the implementation. So myself, I'm a young person and I'm leading the implementation. And young people are, they have the voice, they have the energy to hold their government and traditional leaders accountable for things that really happen now and the future generation, because the older people wouldn't be there in the future. It's us, and the change starts with us. We are able to hold them accountable, and we the young people leading other young people to do engagement, educate, enlighten people on the implications of FGM. They really relate with us because we are young people and we understand their perspective. Communication becomes very effective because we all have the same language that we can both understand. And during some of our engagements, the young people really felt free and they were really like they really open us to tell us some things they wouldn't feel comfortable to tell an elderly person. And we had an interactive session and it went very well and they really understood for it. And one thing that really was very interesting is that these were people from the community, rural communities, where when you are communicating with them, you have to break down communication to the simplest language so they can understand. So most what we did was a documentary. So we did a lot of image training them using a lot of images and documentaries, letting them understand the perspective, which they really connected and they understood. And they gave success stories to it that they weren't coming for the training, they really felt like it would be boring to be talk too much thought. But coming up, they realized that they were able to connect and they saw things. It's not like it's not about like just talking, but they see things, documentaries and all that. And they were pushing more on the case that once they have seen other from other countries what other young people are doing on a documentary, it's also good that as part of activities we get a documentary in the around the border sites between Ghana and Burkina Faso to also let people know what is happening, because people really see when they believe, to also know what is happening and how best they can solve this issue of FGM. And these young people at the border sites that have been trained, they have friends who are at Burkina, and they've been able to also collaborate with some of their friends around the border sites to come up with activities. So it's not just within the border of Ghana, but we have activities where the young people go to Burkina border to have engagement and enlighten people on these implications concerning the health and the human rights perspective. So this is what I have to say for now. Thank you,
Thank you,
Enova.
Nova.
Wow. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Ari. That has been really detailed, and I'm happy we've managed to crop. I mean, between you and Arifa, you've managed to crop between the next two questions of the planned question that we have today, which was about initiatives and about what the organizations do. Right now, what I want to hear, maybe I want to hear first from the high level perspective, and then I'll break it down to the different organization that Meltem works with. Meltem, with regards to um initiative, which initiative do you think you want to talk about on this platform today that you've been able to put out there and truly feel that this initiative made a difference in what in eliminating FGM or even reducing the numbers? What should we take notes as what has been done?
Actually,
Actually, I mean,
um the thing is, when you're talking about reducing the numbers, is it not just, one initiative, success, or, two initiative success? It's the success of the combination of all these initiatives. One side we have the UN and the joint program, which is the, global, which is the largest global program addressing FGM. And on the other side, there are both, grassroots and national and regional, sometimes global as well, civil society organizations working on against FGM, and other institutions as well, like, for example, African Union. It's a big entity working on many issues regarding the African continent or European Union, like African Union. They are also, supporting activities against FGM, and some bilaterals, like some countries, not just, in the continent, but in the other, parts of the world, especially in Europe, in United States of America, Canada. There are lots of, governments also supporting both the CSOs and the joint program for the elimination of FGM. So, when we're talking about the reducing of the numbers, it is actually the combination of the efforts of all these partners, I must say. First of all, I have to underline the importance of African Union because, as a political body, also a development and humanitarian support mechanism within the continent. They're doing a lot of work for eliminating all harmful practices. Not just FGM, but child marriages as well. So I must say that African Union plays an important role for all these activities and initiatives that they are taking. They're implementing. Another important thing is about accountability, because all the governments who actually have laws and legislations against FGM should be also accountable for what they are doing, how they are implementing these laws and rules and regulations and legislation. So it is also important AU to track and monitor these actions and implementations of the governments under AU. So in 2020, actually it started in 2019 before the COVID, an initiative initiated, let me say, within the collaboration of African Union, European Union, and the United States. Two important big entities working on human rights issues, and with other issues as well. They actually came together to implement, first develop, then implement a program on the elimination of harmful practices. Two important ones, FGM and child marriages. And EU has been supporting many countries around the world through Spotlight initiative on programs related to violence against women. So as FGM can be seen as a gender-based violence or violence against women and girls, EU decided to support this initiative through its Spotlight program. These three important and high-level institutions came together and developed the program. And in 2020, just in the midst of COVID, actually the program started to implement, because I must underline that, especially during the crisis times. That crisis can be an armed conflict or a big migration, or a health crisis like COVID. Gender-based violence against women and girls actually rises. So I must say that FGM also was affected. The girls and women who are subject to FGM were also affected because of COVID, especially the closures, school closures, and closures within the communities. And unfortunately, all the success that we were, having, go backwards during the COVID-19 time. So Spotlight project or program, let me say, started in the midst of COVID in 2020. And now we're actually entering the last phase, and it will be finishing in next year. And through this Spotlight program, what we did was we supported many CSOs all around the world. Not just in continents, but for example, in UK, in Italy, who are also working on FGM. Because when we talk about FGM, we immediately think of the continent, African continent. However, we know that there are other countries around the world. Unfortunately, there are women and girls who are subject to FGM there as well. Like, for example, in some Latin American countries who has African descendants, or Indonesia, another, important example that I can give. And in Europe, again, African descendants who migrated in Europe, there are lots of countries who are challenging with FGM. So we supported many, CSOs. We supported, young people. We supported women organizations, feminist movement, and particularly African Union, especially on the policy level. Like, for example, for example, the accountability mechanism that AU will use to monitor and track the implementation of the legislations in the countries. My position here is actually, especially in the joint program, Spotlight program is part of the joint program on elimination of FGM, which is implemented by UNFPA and UNICEF. I'm the gender and GBV technical specialist who's responsible of the implementation of the Spotlight program. So I've been mainly working with the African Union, European Union, and as a UN staff for the UN. I think that's all I can say for now, because I know the time is ticking and we don't have much time. So let me give the floor to back to you, Adeline, and the young friends.
Thank you so much, Meltem. Thank you extremely. You've actually broadened the scope of what I know. I know we've worked on this program the last 6 months. We've been working on these projects, and just listening to you presenting the two different entities, the UNFPA, the UNICEF, and the program itself, I feel that I've learned a lot that I'm going to take home for tomorrow's project. I want to talk about something that is pertinent, and I'm going to call on you, Ari. I'll call on you, Arifa, because I know you can respond to this next question the way that I want you to talk about it. I want you to tell me, there is a modern day term used to downplay FGM. It's called medicalization of FGM. Can you shed more light on this? Do you think this is something that you want to tell us about? Over to you, Arifa.
Thank you very much. And, when people talk about the medicalization of FGM, at times I laugh. The reason why I normally laugh about this is because, one, let me lay the foundation that FGM, that is called female genital mutilation, in my language, bondo, in any kind of way, form, or shape, it's the highest, it's the highest rate of human rights abuse right across the country that is affecting mainly women and girls in my community. So whether done by a traditional healer, whether done by a traditional cutter, or done by a medical practitioner, FGM is still a human rights abuse. That's one. Two, when you think about FGM, it has some psychosocial effects. So one wants to ask this question. Now that if we are saying that the traditional quota should not cut our women and girls, but let's take them to the hospital, let's take them to the qualified nurses. Do you think those nurses are in the heads of the girls, are in the heads of the women to deal with the psychosocial effect of the FGM thing? Now, you understand? And secondly, no matter how it is done, maybe yes, somebody may want to say, and I would partially agree with you that the pain will reduce. But let me tell you, how about STIs? Would they reduce? So for me, the medicalization of FGM, this is my own take. My take is whether it's medical, whether it's traditional, FGM still stand to be a human rights abuse being perpetrated on women and girls. Second, no matter what happened, the psychosocial effect of FGM, whether done by a traditional healer or done by a medical practitioner, still stay the same the way it is in the heads of women and girls. It doesn't go because no doctor, no nurse is in the head of that girl, is in the head of that woman to deal with the psychosocial effect of FGM. So why do we want to medicalize it? Why do we want to take it from the bush and bring it to the hospital? Do we think that bringing it to the hospital will eradicate the human rights aspect of it? No, it is still a crime, a human rights abuse. The psychosocial effects. You think of the STIs. They still exist, even when it comes to medicalization of FGM. So for me, I want FGM. Me, Ariefab, in my generation, the generation I am going to lead, the generation I am serving now, and generation yet to come after Ariefab, we are saying both medical, both traditional, FGM is a human rights abuse that has so much psychosocial effect on the life of women and girls that stays with them short term, mid term, and long term. And let's think about the long term effect of FGM, whether done traditionally or done medically. Let us think about the psychosocial effect about it. So we still say no to FGM.
Wow, thank you, Arifa. I think you have I think you've met even the highest practitioner, the highest traditional practitioner. If they were to listen to you speak, they wouldn't want to dare you. They would want to stop. Because the generation that you are going to lead, the generation that you are leading, is a generation that should be FGM free. We should stop it in our different capacity. The mere passion of pushing, driving the narrative, changing the narrative is truly important. And I believe it plays a huge role. If not for your passion and your ability to convince your mom, I'm sure you wouldn't have achieved half the things that you've achieved. Now tell me, apart from the achievements that you've mentioned, what is one of the things, just one, that you can proudly tell us about today to say this is an initiative that I am so proud about it and I want any opportunity to talk about it because it is an initiative that was hard to come, but that came to pass.
Wow, and this
Wow, and this
initiative was
initiative was
establishing a
establishing
safe
a
and
safe
supportive
and supportive
environment for
environment
young
for
women and
young
girls
women and
in
girls
local
in local
communities
communities
that were
that were
affected by these
affected by these
evils of
evils of
FGM,
FGM,
illegal child
illegal
marriage,
child
and
marriage,
teenage
and teenage
pregnancy. And
pregnancy.
how does
And
it
how
work?
does it work?
One day,
One
I
day,
went to
I
UNICEF
went
for
to
a
UNICEF for a
presentation,
presentation.
and I met with this young man that is very much passionate about the empowerment of young people, especially in Sierra Leone. He never had started his organization called Purposeful. But when we met at UNICEF, this guy called me after my presentation of this Dukono school. After Dukono, I had another initiative to transform education in Conquer where they had 4 church house building. But because of my intervention, we changed the church house building, not furnished, but at least a more comfortable structure for kids to prevent them from danger. So this young man called Chernoba, listened to my story. He smiled, he laughed, he was so happy. But at the end of the day, guess what happened? He cried. Well, I don't know whether that was a tear of joy to say, okay, myself, I've got a replicate that can replicate my ideas. I've never known Arifa, but Arifa, come, let me talk to you. And then he said, Arifa, I have this idea of starting an organization called Purposeful Production, and I'm giving money to non-formal organizations. And those type of organizations, those type of young people, is you I am talking to. So how do you think we can work? Then I said, don't worry, let's come and strategize and let's see what to do. Then I discussed with him. He said, okay, Arifa, go home, design a proposal, submit that to me. And I went home. I sat down as young by then, like I told you, I was still a student. So I sat home and then I did this proposal and submitted it to his own hub here, Purposeful. So at the end of the day, over 2,000 organizations applied, both national, regional, and international. But guess what? Arifa's organization was able to be shortlisted among those 2,000 organizations. And when we got our first grant of $6,000, the money was small. It wasn't even enough for my transportation of someone's transportation to those communities. But I said, what? Arifa, I am going to make the impossible be possible. And how can I do it? With these small resources, I am going to create a huge impact. So I started supporting 80 adolescent girls. And these 80 adolescent girls, the segmentation was 40 in school and 40 out of school. So the 40 in school, they have an education challenge of access to education materials, education resources like uniform, like shoes, like bag, like books and stuff like that. I said I'm going to support them with education material. And the other 40 girls, they were dropped out of school either because of teenage pregnancy, either because of early marriage, either because of financial constraint. I said I'm going to work with them. So when I work with those girls, I sat them down, the girls, because one thing about me, I don't design program myself. I go to the community. I listen to my beneficiaries. I listen to their stakeholders. I listen to these girls. I ask them, what do you want? So those girls told me that they want an economic empowerment scheme through agriculture. I said, how sustainable is the agriculture? They said, if you are able to support us through agriculture, even when this project shall have finished, remember you said your project is 3 years. But if we have that support of agriculture, even when your project finished, even when you are done with your project, we can still have our agriculture projects here running sustainably, even without your support. I said, okay, so I'm going to support you with the agriculture. But during that process, we created a safe and supportive environment for the girls, where the girls meet alone to discuss issues affecting them. But before we go into those communities, remember, let me tell you the host that those girls were never allowed to be in a community meeting, whether it's development meeting, whether it's political meeting, whether it's religious meeting, even in a family meeting, they are not allowed. But guess what? One of our greatest success is that one of our greatest success story, that success story, even if I die today, I will take it with me. And God himself will greet me with his right hand, is that girls today in those communities have the right, have the opportunity to be sitting with stakeholders. Even if the president go today in those communities, the first point of contact will be the girls that we are working with. And the reason behind that is because they now know how to articulate community issues. They now know how to talk about community initiatives. They now know how to bring ideas that will develop their community. They now can speak on issues affecting, especially education, especially girl child marriage and teenage pregnancy. So our girls now are big stakeholders in their community. They sit with big people, they sit with their chief. We introduce them as the community aspect, like the FSU, family support unit, the hospital, because girls were not having the access to go to the hospital to get medical support. But because of our program, we had to bring them together at hospital and told the medical practitioners that, no, you know what, these girls are the reason why you guys are here. Listen to them. If they come for family planning, give it to them. If they come for anything, give it to them. But in the interim, we have special program for these girls. And what we also do, we are the only organization in those communities that allow the girl child to practice football. That is our outdoor games. We do athletics, we do football games and stuff like that. So all of this put together, the girls
very inspired. And guess what? They become advocates for
Arifa,
their own.
I
Now,
think
if
we
they
are
want to
losing
become
you.
a community, no,
Hello,
no,
Arifa.
don't want to. Arifa's organization said we should not go through FGM. We should not be married at an early age. And nobody should pregnant us when we are below the age of 18. So you see, they become advocates for themselves. If they see a community woman beating her child, if they see a community man beating his own wife, they will go to them and say, this is not what we learn in our safe space. So what we learn in our safe space is to protect women. What we learn in our
Thank you,
safe space is to
Arifa.
protect girls. What we learn is to
Thank
make
you.
the girls have the power. So we've been able to give the girls the power. We've been able to give
Thank
them the
you.
resources. We've been able to give them the voice. We've been able to speak up their voices to say, yes, enough is enough to early marriage. Enough is enough to teenage pregnancy. Enough is enough of hurting women and girls that we call FGM. Now is the time for transformation, and let girls transition to a better stage of life.
Thank you, Arifa. Thank you very much. Wow. Arifa's story is that of empowerment. Arifa and his community, they've been able to empower their community. So they're not teaching, they're not doing it for them, but they're teaching them how to do it for themselves. And I believe that is the best way, because when you empower people to do things, they empower others to do things. Last week, I talked about shining your light. I say when you shine your light onto right above, you attract other people. When people come to your light, they take a bit of your light, and when you have a lot of people holding up their light, you have a brighter space. So that is what you're doing, which I truly admire, and I feel that this should be replicated or duplicated within different communities. You need to teach people how to do it themselves rather than do it for them. At this point, I'm just going to dash straight into Rahi. I'm going to come to you because we're rounding up our program soon. We have about 15 minutes left to show time stop. And I want to talk about our deadline. I want to talk about our deadline of 2030. I want us to be realistic and talk about ending FGM by 2030. How realistic is this? I mean, um Rahi, you just talk about what you feel, the different efforts that just tell me what you think. We all have these deadlines, and we are all working in our different structure, our different organization to make sure we hit this deadline. How realistic is this?
Okay. So hmm, with Agenda 2030 and leaving nobody behind, it's a vision and it's a dream. And they say it's good and very fine to dream big. You have to target the sky. You shouldn't target low. And it's a vision. And there's nothing impossible on this world. That is my belief, that there's nothing impossible. Everything is possible. And with bringing that philosophy, I think the agenda, I strongly believe the agenda 2030, which seeks to leave nobody behind, women and girls and most vulnerable people to achieve 2030, the SDGs 2030, is very possible. If only we put on the right things in place. And when I say right things, it includes empowerment at every corner, rural areas, places that are very far to get, even places which have very low rates. Once we are targeting to get zero tolerance to end FGM, there should be zero and not even a single case. And that means we need to go to the people that are far left behind. That means targeting rural areas, giving them sensitization, education, and even giving them that empowerment and putting sustainability approach, targeting it from a sustainability approach. FGM is something which is a human behavior. It's a behavioral change. It's an attitude. And this is something which cannot just be changed over just a day. And looking at the time frame of it, if only the right things are being kept in place, the empowerment, the intensive empowerment, the sensitization from the media perspective, getting to the grassroots level, involving traditional leaders and making sure what traditional leaders and people at the community level really define what they want and how best we can target it. And one thing I'll really say is that even if we are targeting of ending this one, we should look at sustainability approach. We shouldn't just be looking at activities that will just end it by 20, but looking at it being a behavioral change. There's a possibility of re-emergence of it. What sustainability approach are we putting? And one of the ways I think we can put sustainability is to encourage empowerment of girls and women. Let them go and have quality education, support quality education of girls and women. Research has shown that if you are educated, you are less likely to engage in FGM. And when you are financially empowered, you are less likely to engage in FGM. When we put traditional leaders, when we put religious leaders, somebody is there just believing or hearing from the pastor and imam saying FGM is harmful, do not do it. That alone is enough for the person. And we've had testimonies where some of these religious leaders have come to say, it's not in the Quran, stop FGM. And people actually have testified that I didn't cut my girl because my pastor said, I didn't cut my girl because my imam said it. And these are things that are really happening. So for us to achieve Agenda 2030, we don't have to leave anybody behind. Getting to communities, getting to religious leaders, making sure that these young people, as UNFPA Ghana is doing, putting young people at the forefront and making sure that they are really empowered and putting their stakeholders, community leaders, religious leaders accountable for some of these things. When young people are being at the forefront to end this harmful practice, there's this succession. When the elderly people are not there, we continue it. And we have that enthusiasm, we have that innovation, we have that fresh idea. So with Agenda 2030, it's very possible when we put the right resources, when we put the right strategy, sustainable approach, results-based evidence planning and programming. It's very possible.
Thank
It's just
you,
you just
Rai.
I'll just say that any person working on FGM, just don't think about ending FGM 2030, put sustainability approach. So we don't have emergence of FGM. That is my take. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Nova.
much. Thank you so much, Rai. Thank you so much, Rahinatou, for that wonderful. I like the sustainability approach because whatever we do and we don't have a plan after that, when it comes back, we're going to go back to our old ways. So before I move on to taking home, I want to call on Meltem because I know she has to go in a minute, although we are stopping really soon. Meltem, I want you to give us, I know you work on this magazine with us, and we have a few people on the cover that you recommended, so just give a shout out to some of the people that we had on the cover. Tell us about give us your final opinion and a take home message to the audience who are watching now or we're going to watch us later. What is your take, and what is your take home message, Berta?
My take, we have a promise. We have a global promise to end FGM by 2030. To be, realistic, maybe we cannot, have zero FGM by 2030, but our global promise says that we will reduce the numbers. We will continue working with all the partners. From the communities, to the political leaders, to the religious, cultural leaders, to young people, to feminists, everyone under the sun. So my actually both take and my contribution to this effort is try to keep this promise, the global promise, and work every day with all these people that we actually mentioned in the magazine. We the ones that we put, the pictures on the cover, to work with them daily basis and walk, with them, with all the partners to say in 2013 that actually, we did lots of things to keep the promise, the global promise that we have given, to the women and girls who are subject to FGM. Thank you. Thank you, Adeline.
Thank you, Meltem. Thank you so much for bringing. I want to first of all thank you for this wonderful team that you've put together for this session. If not for you, I personally wouldn't have had the opportunity of listening to Arifa and falling in love with his passion. I wouldn't have had the opportunity of listening to Rahinatou and connecting with her inner believe in what we're doing and what we have to do. And of course, you keep bringing all these very great people my way. I hope we have future collaboration to do many more things for FGM and reach out to the community and get more and more people to be aware about what we're doing, and of course putting in their efforts to help stop once and for all FGM by 2030. It has been a pleasure hosting you today, and we'll meet you again. So I'll see you again, but I'm going to round up with Ari and Rahinatou. Then Meltem, you can go. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Okay, so let's Ariatu, I'm going to give you the floor to give your final words to those watching. What is it that you want to tell them? And yeah, so what is the take home message you want to tell our audience today? Before you come in, I want to read this from Indrisa. This is a recommendation from Indrisa. As a young activist and also a member of Global Youth Consortium Against FGM from Sierra Leone, the issue of FGM needs an holistic approach of engagement of both parties, government, traditional CSOs, on the health implications of FGM, especially on young girls. There are many community stakeholders, traditional sowers around Sierra Leone that are yet to know the negative impact of FGM. FGM does not only need a voice, but rather voices to end it. That is very strong. And I feel that this should be taken into consideration, not just in Sierra Leone, but in across Africa, all the places. So thank you so much for your inputs. I have a question from Manthi Mohammed, who says, which organizations are leading the issues of FGM in Africa or the world? I believe either Arifa, I'm sure you're the best placed person to answer this. And Nancy also made a comment. I am glad someone finally said it. FGM is an abnormal practice, and I think it is so wrong to hurt young girls under the canopy of tradition. There you go. That's from you. And inciting is from Fatimata. FGM is harmful practice and a human right abuse. You're so right. Yaya says, I think you guys have done a great job, though there's still much to do. So let's answer this question. I want to pop this question. Which organizations are leading issues on FGM in Africa? Do you want to take that before you give your final words?
Okay, so to the question as to which organization is leading to the eradication of female genital mutilation in Africa, one is UNFPA, because they have UN mandate to work on issues like this, including maternal health, child health, and also the empowerment of young people right across the world, not only in Sierra Leone or Africa, but right across the world. They have that mandate. From UNFPA, you also think about UNICEF. That is why the biggest collaboration, the biggest collaborative effort, that is the Global Joint Program, is being implemented by these two great UN
agency, the UNFPA and that of UNICEF, supported by the UN and also the European Union, because the European Union, let's don't forget, they are investing lots of money into this joint initiative program through their initiative program. So basically, for now, yes, and because of this, of their great partnership, we can now see great initiative coming up at local level, national level, regional level, and international level, talking about FGM and trying to eradicate FGM. So basically, maybe Raina can say something about that, but that is what I know for now. And as time goes, we'll continue this engagement. So my final take home is, if you are here and you are a man like Arifa, stand up. If you are here, you are a man like Arifa, speak up. If you are here, you are a man like Arifa, act now. If you are here, you are a man like Arifa, give a strong commitment to end FGM. Let us face the fact, FGM does not only affect women and girls, it affects you and I, us the boys, us the men. And you know how it affects us? You go to those local communities, when it's time for FGM, who do they ask for money? It's us, the parents, especially the men. So basically, economic crisis comes because of FGM. My elder brother called me to say, I don't have a school fee to pay for the kids. Please send me something to pay for them. I don't have money to buy their bag. You know, when I mean my elder brother, is one of my family relatives, not my biological brother, because my biological brother will dare not call me to say he wants his children to go through FGM, because he will know what I will tell him. So this man, after a few weeks, called me again to say, Arifa, I want to take your siblings to FGM. I said, who is going to support you? He said, I have the support. I said, so you have the money, you have the resources, you are keeping it to initiate your children instead of investing it in their education. I will dare not support you. And if you do that, I will take it to law. He stopped. So my final message is, us the men, let us speak up. Let us stand up. Tradition tells us that we are the power holders. And if we are the power holders, the only way we can give that power to women is when we speak up, we stand up, and we talk about the negative effects of women. Only that we can transfer those powers to women. Let us give them their powers. Let us give them the opportunity to learn. Let us give them the opportunity to actualize their natural potentials. Let us tell the world that women are far more better, if not more than men, but they can do more if they are given the opportunity. FGM is not the only solution to make that girl a woman. Educate that girl. Invest in her. Tell her that, yo, look, let us invest in you. Go to school, and that girl can become a better person. And if that girl become a better person in that family, in that community, that girl can save this world. Who knows? My mother, what she went through, I can't explain, because whenever I speak about my mother in public, I cry. But who knows, if my mother had died through FGM, there will never be Arifa today. If my mother would have died through FGM, my younger brother is becoming a lawyer. He's a practicing lawyer. He will never become a practicing lawyer. If my mother should have died through FGM, my elder brother is in Ghana. He has a whole history on his own, from nothing to something. That wouldn't have happened. People die because of FGM. Sunday, I had to go to Kabbalah to protect a girl who was dying from FGM. They initiate this girl. This girl had been initiated before in Guinea, I think a year or two ago. This girl fell from a mango tree, and he had to injure her vagina. And people in this country, in Kabbalah, had no passion for this girl. They asked this girl to go through FGM, and the girl said, listen, mother, I have gone through FGM, and I can't afford to do it twice. A whole lot of women gathered to throw her into the bush to cut her. And after cutting this girl, for 2 weeks, nobody was taking care of this girl. She had no support from anybody. She had no parental support. Her mother is in Guinea. Her father is in the village, who is very sick and he wants to die. I have sent for that man. He's coming to Freetown. I'm coming to give him a treatment. That girl was almost going to die. What saved that girl was hunger. Hunger is what saved that girl. I think she was very hungry and she had to ask for help. That she's very hungry and she needs somebody to feed her. Upon feeding her, she had to explain that story. And when this story reaches me, even the nurses who treated that girl on Sunday had to say, Arifa, thank you for saving a life. I didn't mean your intervention. The vagina of this girl had gone wrong. She had developed STIs. Her vagina had become very offensive to even the doctors. When I went to the SOAS on Monday to engage with them, the SOAS said, my son, we cannot speak with men. We cannot talk with men on this FGM issue. But you, we can talk with you because what you have done is marvelous. What you have done is great. What you have done is beyond humanity. We saw this girl, us the SOAS, we saw the girl. And when we saw her, there was nothing we can do because we had no solution as SOAS. We had no solution as traditional reporters because our colleague who did it the wrong way. Remember what I'm saying. Let us stop FGM. How can you cut a girl more than 8 centimeters deep? How wicked is that act? She was cut more than 8 centimeters deep. I have the medical report. And I've taken this case to the police station. They've invited the woman. She has come in to give a statement. I am against FGM. And this is what I told people every day. I have a family fight. I have a traditional fight. I have a country fight. I have a religious fight. I have every fight around me to end FGM. But as long as Ariefab continues to exist, my last and my take-home message is, let us get involved. Let us speak us the men. We have the voice. We have the ability, especially when we are young, like by now. We have the ability. We have the voice. We don't need resources. All we need is our passion. We don't need resources. All we need is the ability to go out there and speak against FGM. All I'm doing, I'm not doing it because I have the resources, but because I have the passion, I have the zest, I have the zeal, and I have this commitment that by 2030, if FGM cannot end, but Sierra Leone now has about 90% of FGM practice. By 2030, I promise that percentage will come below 50.
Wow. Arifa, to be honest, I'm roughing off your passion. I'm roughing off the passion for the things you do. And just a quick question to you before we go off. Is this something that you would like to do again? Would you be interested? Because I want to take another dynamics of this conversation, and it might be a very controversial one because I believe that for things like this to end, it is good for us to tackle these questions from different angle. And I want to take a different, a controversial approach, in the next series to follow. And I would like to bring you back on set so that I can, hear or listen to your views on that. But before that, I'm going to share this with you and talk with you about it so that you can give me your opinion. So that when we come on air, you'll be able to tell me exactly in the passionate way in which you're saying, and tell us exactly how you feel about it. Is that okay?
My sister, my mother,
my
my aunt,
aunt,
you call
you
upon
call
me at
upon me
any
at
time.
any
If
time.
this
If
issue
this
has to
issue has
do
to
with
do
ending,
with
eradicating
eradicating
FGM in the entire
FGM in the
world,
entire
call
world,
me at any
call me
time.
at any
Call me
time.
at 2
Call
a.m.
me
in the
at 2
night.
a.m. in the
Call me
night.
at 1
Call me
a.m.
at
in the
1
night.
a.m. in the
Even when
night.
I'm at
Even when
work,
I'm at
call me.
work, call me.
I'm ready.
I'm
And I'm
ready. And
passionately
I'm
ready.
passionately ready. Thank you very much, Arifa. Thank you very much. Wow, that was a very passionate intervention, and I feel that the more I listen to activists speak about what they're doing, the more I fall in love with what we are doing, and the more I want to do more. So let's listen. Let's get our take-home message. Have you given us your take-home message already, Rai? Let's give Rai the opportunity to give us her take-home message before we say bye.
Okay, this is my story. At a young age, I saw other girls being cut, and I never knew this health implications and human rights perspective of FGM. What I only saw was young girls cry, bleed, sometimes bleed to death, but I really didn't have information on why why it should stop. But the only thing that triggered me was that during the cut, they cried severely, and it was a torture. It was just the pain I witnessed, tears flowing, psychological torture. that I was able to connect to know that this is something which was harmful. And until I got to a city and somewhere in the junior high and getting to senior high, I really got the information about this health implications, this human rights perspective concerning the practice of FGM. And I said to myself, if I had heard this information earlier on, I could have stopped a number of girls being cut with a strong evidence and scientific explanations to this act. And my message is that we need to get information early to prevent some of these girls who would have added to the development of our country. If they were alive and having quality education, they would have added to the economy to grow. Girls died out of this act. This is something that we need to stop. And if you educate a girl, you educate the whole nation. And if you educate a man, you educate an individual, which was said by Dr. Agri. And let's understand this. Ending FGM is not just about empowering the girl. It's something that has to also reduce poverty, that has to also build an economy. So government agencies, individuals, organizations, I call on you to accelerate and increase these steps we are taking to end FGM. It doesn't lie on one person. We need serious investment. We need a force to end FGM. My take home for all of us is, why should we keep a tradition that knows only pain? Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much. I think we have come to the end of this program, but I want to thank you, Rai. I want to thank you for the way you have approached this subject. I want to thank you for the contribution that you've brought on this subject today. I just want to pop on the question, the topic for today, so that we know how to wrap up. So, what we were discussing today, we're talking about the elimination of FGM, and we were also talking to activists across. We're talking to Arifa all the way in Sierra Leone. We have Meltem on the line. She was checking in from the Gambia. And we have Rahinatou, who is checking in from Ghana. So I hope we've been able to impress you people today. We hope we've been able to change the narrative, the way you think about FGM. We hope we have pushed you to call that uncle, call that aunt, call that member of your family who is still locked, trapped in time and practicing FGM. We hope you'll be able to tell your village chief the fun, tell them about the ills, the implications on health, on psychology, on self-confidence of FGM on the young girl and subsequently a woman. We hope you'll be able to be one of the voice or voices that will join us in this journey to ensure that by the year 2030, we stop this, we eliminate it, we cut it, and we come to an end. So it's 1 hour 30 minutes, and we've come to the end of this show. I'll be seeing you in the next 2 weeks this time around, because we're planning to bring a wider network of people, a lot more people to join in this conversation and help change the narratives. So thank you so much. I had some fantastic panelists today, and I hope to meet them again in the nearest future. I'll say it's been Adeline, founder, CEO, FabAfriq Media Group, FabAfriq Magazine, and we recently published an edition of FabAfriq Magazine fully sponsored by UNFPA via Defend Defender, African Defenders, and this publication is on female genital mutilation. What we did was we looked into FGM in its holistic approach. We looked at what the high-level UN agencies are doing. We looked at the supporting agencies. We also looked at organizations. We looked at champions. We looked at survivors. We also looked at celebrities who are using their profile and their voices to help stop FGM. The reason for this is our efforts to join our voices to eliminate once and for all FGM by 2030. So Agenda 2030 should be the high priority agenda in everyone's calendar. So I'm going to leave you. I'm going to love you. And I'm going to see you real quick, real soon. So bye now. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, bye, bye.